In the last episode, we turned our Polaris Outlaw 450 MXR into a race machine for the motocrosser on a budget. First, we sent our shocks to Race Tech, where Todd Davis installed one of their race series conversion kits. Then, experienced Outlaw 450 racer Aaron Meyer installed a small list of components we felt most essential to enhance the Outlaw's on-track performance. Now it's time to meet up with Team Media All-Stars Chase Cunningham at Bar to Bar MX, located in Mount Sterling, Kentucky, for our Outlaw 450 project's rigorous on-track test. If you have an Outlaw 450, this is one you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Chase Cunningham. I'm a Team Media All-Stars rider. We're out here at Bar to Bar MX in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. We just completed part 2 of our 09 Polaris MXR 450 test. We got this bike back around February, or early winter, let's put it that way. And we rode it at Early Wine Racing in Maysville, Kentucky indoor track. Rode it bone stock. And was really impressed with what it did on the indoor track as far as being a bone stock bike. And what we wanted to do is basically build on the strengths that we found that the bike has and eliminate, a few weaknesses that it has. This bike, the 09 MXR, got completely redone from 08. So basically what we're doing is this is a bike a lot of people don't know much about, and they really don't know how good of a machine it really is. And that's basically what we're here to do, is we're going to put a little bit of, we've put in a little bit of money into this bike to fix just a few things that it needed. And we're going to show you that you can be competitive on this machine on a motocross track. The motor on this bike, back when we tested it at Early Wine Racing back in the winter, it had really good bottom end, and we felt like it had just a little bit of flat spot in the middle, almost like it was choked up just a little bit. So what we did, basically our only 2 mods we did to the motor at all, was we put a Rath intake with a K&N filter on it, and we put a Yoshimura stainless steel RS5 pipe on it. And the bike now, the motor really rips compared to what it did. We've really woken the motor up. We've got jumps on this track that are over 100 feet. And I'm hitting the jumps just like I would on my race bike. I'm clearing them just the same as I would on my fully modded race bike. In my personal opinion, the KTM engine that's on this Polaris bike is it's in the ballpark, definitely, with any 450 on the market right now as far as power goes. The Polaris MXR 450 comes stock with Fox podium shocks. What we did with this bike is we took the stock Fox shocks and we sent them to Race Tech, and we had Race Tech revalve them and respring them. And basically what we've got back here is a pretty good shock. I've been busting big jumps with this thing all day long. A lot of the magazines that have tested the Polaris bike say that the suspension is a little bit soft and that it bottoms out. Well, I've not had any problem bottoming out today at all. I've jumped 100 feet, 110 feet. I've come up short, I've overshot a couple of things, and I have yet to bottom the suspension out on this bike with these new Race Tech shocks. The only thing that we could really probably ask out of the Race Tech shocks that we've got back is maybe if they were just a little bit more plush in the braking bumps. The Polaris MXR 450 that we tested stock back in the winter came with 18 10-9 rear tires, and it came with 20-6-10 front tires. They were the Maxxis razors. They were the hard compound razors though. What we've got on it now are the Kenda Cutter MX. We've got an 8-inch wheel now, which will actually help us with our sidewall flex and helps us get a little bit of traction. I've raced the Nationals all year on the soft compound Maxxis, which is Maxxis's baby, and the Kenda tire that we're testing out here today on similar track conditions to what a national track gets, which is blue groove. They are hooking up, in my opinion, just as good as a Maxxis tire would hook up here. When you're coming into the turns, they seem to be really well as far as predictability. We're not getting a whole lot of bounce coming in, and we're not getting a whole lot of chatter on the way out, which is always a good thing. They seem to be biting really well and doing what they were engineered to do. And the front tires, they're steering really good. I mean, they don't dart, and when you come into the turns, they bite, and you don't have to worry about if the front end's going to push. They do what they're supposed to do. They seem to be working really well. Today, the more used to this bike I got with all the stuff we've done to it, the more and the bigger I went on it, the more I noticed how light this bike actually feels. And I think a lot of that can be attributed to the Douglas Champion in a Box wheel kit that we've got on it. They're a new aluminum wheel that Douglas has come out with, and they basically designed them for the factory race teams to keep the weight down, and I think they've done a good job with that. These wheels have held up great for us all day long. We're running 7 pounds in the rear, 10 pounds of pressure in the front, which is basically in the same guideline that Douglas gave us. And it's real close to what you want to run, at a national track. And by keeping these wheels light, you don't lose a whole lot of horsepower from the rotating mass that you've got on these wheels. I think these wheels are an excellent wheel whether you're racing the national level or the local level. We've put Renthal handlebars on this bike, and what the Renthal bars do is they've got us down quite a bit. It really improves the feel of the machine. It's one of the main things that I had to have on this bike whenever we were testing it back in the winter. I wanted different handlebars so I could get down and get aggressive on the machine. And the Renthal handlebars that we've got, they work great out there. The main thing about Renthal is they're really strong. I've run them on my race bikes for years and I've had awesome luck out of them. It's really hard to bend a Renthal bar. You'll bend the stem first. But the main thing is the amount of bends that they have. They have a lot of choice as far as bends, and you can basically get it any way you want it. The Renthal grips that we put on the Renthal bars on this machine, they're really nice. They work really well. They're a softer grip, but we've rode it all day today, and I can't tell that they've worn at all. But they felt really good on my hands. This bike actually comes with aluminum heel guards, which is a huge plus. A lot of guys will go out and buy brand new Nerf bars and heel guards to put on this machine, but since this one came with the aluminum heel guards, what we did is we just added the pure Polaris Nerf bars to it. They seem to work great, but basically the only thing I've really got against it is the fact that Polaris doesn't have a very wide foot peg. They need a wider foot peg that's a little bit longer and a little more aggressive to where you can really get down on the bike. But as far as for the price that you pay for the setup that we're using right now, you can't beat it. And also what we've put on the front of this machine is a DG bumper. That's a DG National MX bumper. And basically what it just adds a whole lot of style, and it gives you a little more protection than what the stock one offers. And it also comes with a number plate mount, which is always handy. A lot of people discredit the Polaris on the motocross track. Not really sure what that reason is, but what we've proved here today is that with the products that we've put on this machine, if you own an Outlaw 450 and you want to get into motocross, this bike is all you're going to need. The products work excellently, and the machine, in my opinion, will get you to the front.